We'd like to get started. My name is Kapi Ho, and it's an honor for me to serve as the chair of the Lakeland Foundation's Board of Directors. Welcome to our 21st annual Donor Scholar Breakfast. For those of you who have attended this breakfast in the past, you know this event is one of the highlights of our year. It's always great to hear from supporters like Tom Moffat, who, like so many of you in here today, have made a real difference in the world, starting right here at Lakeland. And it's always wonderful to hear from the students, many who have navigated some challenges in life and now are on course to succeed through Lakeland. So thank you for joining us this morning. For the program today, we'll first hear from Dr. Laura Barnard, Lakeland's Executive Vice President and Provost. Then Bob Kane, the Lakeland Foundation's Executive Director, will introduce each of our featured speakers. We'll then conclude the breakfast with remarks from Jason Wooliger and I think Dennis Eckert. Jason and Dennis are co-vice chairs of our foundation's board, and they'll have interesting news for all of us. Now, we've promised to conclude the program by 9:30, so Jason and Dennis are going to be under some tight orders. Before I invite Dr. Barnard to the podium, we want to recognize all our wonderful supporters in the audience. Firstly, all who are donors to the Lakeland Foundation, please stand and be recognized. All who are students at Lakeland, please stand and be recognized. And to many of our younger students, you may not be donors to the foundation today or to Lakeland today. We hope that someday you'll return the favor and pay it forward and be standing as one of our donors at a future breakfast. With us today, we have the following members of the Lakeland Foundation Board of Directors: Tom Benda, Don Daly, Dennis Eckert, Dale Fellows, Nancy Guthrie, Richard Eiffelise, Dave Kalina, Kay Malik, Andy Meinhold, Mark Ruth, Allison Scott, Dee Dee Storer, Jason Wooliger. Please stand and be recognized. We're also pleased to have members of the Lakeland Community College Board of Trustees. So Dave Kalina, Kay Malik, Kip Molnar, and Roger Stutster. Please stand and be recognized. We also have several members of Lakeland Community College's Alumni Hall of Fame: Jesse Basinski, Lori Kazat, Dale Fellows, Paul Hack, and Kip Molnar. Please stand. I would also like all of Lakeland's employees to stand. Thank you to the employees for making a difference for all of us every day, whether as donors or by ensuring that our foundation, the financial aid office, the business office, and all the college's efforts come together to enhance our students' success. Lastly, I'd like to recognize the elected officials, whom we are honored to have with us this morning. So we have State Senator John Eklund and Lake County Commissioner Dan Troy. Please stand. So a final thank you to everyone, the students, the donors, Lakeland employees, elected officials, and board members. We appreciate the impact that you're making at Lakeland, and it's an honor for me to be part of the Lakeland family. At this time, I'd like to invite Dr. Laura Barnard to come up.
Thank you so much, Kapi. I'm honored as well to be a part of this year's Donor Scholar Breakfast. I'm certain that as everyone arrived this morning, you saw the very large construction site and new building on the front of campus that is not quite yet complete. While it is currently still a work in progress, this state-of-the-art facility will house a range of new programming at Lakeland. To me, it is a symbol of the amazing work that all of us, including everyone in this room, has done over the past 50 years to make Lakeland the outstanding educational institution that it is. Just as important, it symbolizes how together we are turning our hopes and dreams for Lakeland and our community into reality. I would like to take just a few minutes of your time to talk about the major role that the Lakeland Foundation has played in Lakeland's past and present. The Foundation supported in an extraordinarily meaningful way, including financially, the college's capital bond issue campaign approved by the Lake County voters in 2015, which yielded many of the dollars that are making the new construction possible. For many years, the Foundation has also helped fund programs that touch every part and corner of Lakeland. In the past year alone, the Foundation awarded over $40,000 and 15 grants through its Faculty Challenge Grant Program, the Thomas W. Maston Fund, and through additional funds which make numerous programs on campus possible. The Foundation has for many years played a vital role in awarding of student scholarships. So far this year, a total of $414,929 has been awarded in scholarship assistance from funds raised by the Foundation, which averages out to about $1,200 per scholarship recipient. The Foundation works continuously to develop new scholarship and program funds. In the past year, the Foundation established the Basic Police Academy Minority Scholarship Fund in response to the community's desire through its Begin the Conversation program to promote the hiring of more minorities onto the area's police forces. And in the past year, the Foundation worked in partnership with Lakeland's faculty to develop the Lakeland Faculty Endowed Scholarship, which is quickly growing through generous donations from faculty members. There is so much to celebrate and look forward to as Lakeland crosses its 50-year milestone. The new construction and renovation of the existing Health Technologies building will serve as the catalyst for bold and exciting classes and programs that will enhance student success and train workers for positions in the very important healthcare industry, including for positions that didn't even exist 5 years ago. We are also positioning ourselves to be ready to respond to the workforce needs of the future. New state-of-the-art equipment will be installed on which students will learn and be trained. A unique and innovative greenhouse classroom and makerspace will provide innovative learning opportunities across all academic disciplines. The Lakeland Foundation is and will continue to be an integral part of that future and help bring all these programs to life. You'll hear more specifically about this at the end of today's program. I would like now to acknowledge someone very special who, after 22 years of working at Lakeland, is retiring at the end of May. Lynn Axton, would you please stand? You can stay standing. This tribute is a well-deserved one all for you. Lynn is the college's Assistant Director for Financial Aid and is responsible for processing all institutional and outside scholarship requests. In the past 5 years alone, Lynn has awarded over $2.7 million in institutional scholarships and grants to student applicants. During her time at Lakeland, she has helped with the development of 2 major scholarship databases, which resulted in an easier, more efficient way of applying for and processing scholarships. Thanks to her efforts, our scholarship applications went from approximately 300 per year to the current number of 1,419. Talk about making a difference in many people's lives. We would like to recognize her for her dedication to the college and the foundation, and we wish her all the best in her retirement. She has touched so many lives over the past 2 decades, and we were so fortunate to have her as an integral part of our college community. Thank you so much for your service, Lynn. In closing, I would like to thank all of you here today, to our donors for your support, and especially our students for allowing Lakeland to provide you with the education which will put you firmly on the path to success, both today and in the future. I'd like now to ask Bob Kane to introduce our student and donor speakers.
I don't know about you, but what really comes to me every time I see this event is how this mix of students that work so hard to succeed, donors who put in some dollars, our volunteers, and the staff at Lakeland work together to make this magic. I don't know what it is, but it's what keeps me around here, coming to events like this every year. So thanks, everybody, for being here. So here's the highlight of the program. We have 4 students this year who we want you to hear from. I'll call on each of them, and after that, we'll hear from our friend Tom Offit, one of our donors. So first of all, Andrea Burse. Andrea, come on up. So Andrea graduated from Brush High School. She's attending Lakeland, hopes to graduate in May 2018, then wants to continue her education and earn a bachelor's degree. She plans to be an entrepreneur and would like to open a nonprofit organization that provides educational and recreational programming for children. Andrea, that sounds very ambitious. Let's see what you're going to do.
Good morning, everyone. Have you ever been in a position where you hit rock bottom, where you were down, depressed, and had no sense of direction? That was who I was in the summer of 2015. I was currently laid off by my employer, and I honestly did not know what to do. I always wanted to go back to school to pursue my dreams, but I never made it a priority, simply because I did not have the time, of course, and I feared failure. Now that time was forced upon me and fear wasn't an option, I decided I wanted better, not only for myself, but also for my daughter as well. I enrolled in Lakeland Community College fall of 2015, and that began the reconstruction of my life. On the day of orientation, I was handed a letter from the Women's Center, so I decided to stop by there after orientation concluded. After I was lost for give or take 20 minutes or so, I finally found the place that has become the foundation of my experience here at Lakeland. Victoria Williams was there to greet me. She was so energetic and friendly, it was like she was waiting on me. I feel she was familiar with all my problems in life and wanted to help me in any way she could. Miss Vicky then introduced me to Mary Gross Hill and Gloria Lane. At this point, I am thinking, wow, are these women always this nice to everyone, or is it just me? From that point on, I felt very comfortable about my decision here to come to Lakeland. The Women's Center introduced me into a lot of things I would probably have overlooked if it wasn't for the women of the program. My first semester, I signed up for the SMART program, and it was extremely helpful. The SMART program was my motivation when I felt like giving up, my navigation when I became lost, an ear when I needed to vent, and a shoulder when I needed to cry. It was everything I needed, being the new student who had no confidence in herself and no sense of where she was going. After the SMART program concluded, I was devastated, but luckily the Women's Center kept their doors open even after you completed the program. Through the center, I was introduced to Professor Meryl Schroeder-Schwartz, an English professor. Professor Schroeder-Schwartz was very tough, but it was what I needed. She always pushed me to my fullest potential. She encouraged me to never give up in life. And one statement that she made that would always stick with me is, "Andrea, I believe in you. I can't wait to see you get your doctorate's degree." I never told her that I planned on furthering my education to that level, but she always found a way to encourage me to do things that I never thought I was capable of accomplishing. Being a student here at Lakeland has helped me in more ways than one can imagine. I now feel my future is bright and promising, and I am not afraid to endure change. Overall, I have become a better person, and more importantly, a mother that is better to a little girl who is watching me every step of the way, and for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you.
Andrea, thanks. Feel better now? All right, so our next student speaker is Gabrielle Beltrunaita. Did I say that right? Yes. Okay. Gabrielle attended the Electronic Classroom of Tomorrow, ECOT. She's a student at Lakeland. After Lakeland, she plans to graduate from Cleveland State in 2019 with a bachelor's degree in business administration and sees her career path as focusing on human resources and finance. Gabrielle.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Gabriela Beltrunaita. My family and I emigrated here from Lithuania in 1998. Then, after coming here, my mother decided to go to college. English was her third language. It took her about 6 years to get an associate's degree. Through those 6 years, she accumulated a lot of debt. Now, she cannot afford to help me and my siblings pay for tuition. When I first started school, my parents told me that my American name is Gabriela Beltrunas. In high school, I wasn't very engaged. My teachers knew this and thought I would drop out. My Spanish teacher, Mrs. Romero Mora, she teaches here, so some of you may know her, she pushed me to do better. She shamed me when I did awful. When I graduated, I wasn't considering college, but my mother pushed me, and perhaps she knew something that I did not know. I started Lakeland in fall of 2014. I was undisciplined, and I was not ready. That first semester, I also received the Pell Grant. The next year when I came back, the Pell Grant wasn't there for me anymore. I had to figure out ways to keep tuition costs down and my income up so that I could afford my tuition. I found out about the officers in clubs that get benefits. I joined in the spring of 2016, shortly after I found out about that. I became an officer of student government, and I am now vice chairperson. That first semester, I received the Homer A. Cole Scholarship, and it helped me to work less and pay more attention to my education. As an officer, we all attended meetings and programs. One of the programs is that we were required to take a leadership course, and in that course, we had a project to shadow someone. This shadowing helped me to be less intimidated by professional people. Another portion of student government is that we were allowed to go to the poverty simulation. And there, I learned about how poverty affects people and how it affected me when I was young and in school. My biggest accomplishment is that I rewrote the bylaws of our organization. There were mistakes in there that went unfixed for 7 years. Another program that I really enjoyed was a motivational speaker. He has taught me to say my name right and to make people say it correctly. Mario Petiti and Christina Corsi work very hard to make students and clubs leaders, and I appreciate them very much. 3 years ago, I did not expect my path today, but now I am getting an honors degree. Because of Lakeland, I do not take an education for granted. It can set you free, and my mother knew all along. I want to thank all of the professors, the advisors, and all of the donors. Through your kindness and contributions, we students become the citizens we have always dreamed of being. And please don't ever forget, kindness is not linear and will always come back. Thank you.
That was terrific. I don't know if I should try to say your name again or not. Thanks, Gabrielle, or something close to that. So Victor Meza, come on up. Victor graduated last year from Harvey High School in Paynesville. He attends Lakeland. He's majoring in psychology, and he hopes to graduate from Lakeland by the end of 2017. His career goal is to be a researcher in cognitive psychology. That's quite a thing. Victor, come on up.
Hello, everybody. My name is Victor, and I hope everybody's enjoying their breakfast. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm very much into the social sciences. I love knowing why people interact the way they do, why certain phenomena occur, such as like racism, homophobia, and anything just related to that. Something else I really like, I love music, any type of music, honestly. Love playing music and writing music. The way I kind of mix social science and music is the way I look at music. In the case of pop music, it has the power to unite and tackle topics, to pull attention to these. It has the power to unite and tackle topics that we are uncomfortable to talk about. Beyonce's Lemonade album was about deep Southern culture and the discrimination that Black people have received throughout the ages. So pop culture in America has more to offer than just a talentless family, but this isn't about the Kardashians. Thank you, I'm here all week, literally. But now you can see why I gravitate towards the social science and music and how they relate. But on a lighter note, me and my siblings are the first generation born in America. My mother is from Jalisco, Mexico, and my father is from Oaxaca, Mexico. My mother told me about her struggles about crossing the border. She continuously and cautiously walked for days in the desert through extreme heat and extreme cold, carrying nothing but a bag of clothes and a hope for a better life, not only for herself, but for her children. Knowing that my mother would go through these lengths to give me and my siblings a better life, it was very inspirational. She inspires me to not only chase my dreams, but to value the things and people who helped me get there. One of the people here at Lakeland that helped me achieve my goals was Lizette Piepenberg, the Hispanic coordinator of the Hispanic Club, and she helped me get into a community health worker program at Cleveland State, which I used to help other people. I volunteered at TriPoint and Red Cross. Someone else that I also really admire is Professor Jeanette Quinn. She teaches sociology here and chemical dependency. She also received a Excellence in Teaching Award recently, and that was honestly well-deserved. And yesterday, even with the Green Group, we picked up trash around the school, and it was really just felt really good for my soul. But when I was asked to speak here, I leapt at the opportunity because I'm a go-getter, and just like thousands of other Latinos in America, they are also go-getters. And to me, people who work for their dreams and go after what they really want is personally my American dream. And because of Lakeland, I wouldn't have grown as much as I have or had the experiences that I have. So I would very much like to thank all of the donors here today for their contribution, and for Bob for giving me the opportunity to voice my experience. Thank you.
Thanks, Victor. That was terrific. Thanks. And the last student today is Tiffany Jackson. Come on up, Tiffany. Tiffany graduated from Jane Addams Business Career Center in 1993. She'll be graduating from Lakeland next month with an associate's degree of applied science and human services. She wants to enter the workforce on graduating, but wants to continue her education, move toward becoming a licensed social worker. Tiffany.
Good morning, everyone. We are here today to honor those who make it possible for others to realize their dreams at Lakeland Community College. Due to your generosity, students like me have an opportunity to experience Lakeland. What I mean by experience Lakeland is this. I attended another school in order to become a nurse, and I realized even though I could do the job, it didn't fulfill me. So I made the decision to follow my heart's passion to become a social worker. Wanting a change of scenery, I decided to transfer to this school that I'd heard so much about called Lakeland. When I stepped into the A building, I said to my husband who was with me, "There's something different about this place." That feeling was confirmed over and over again as I met with different people while going through the transfer experience. No matter who it was, they were genuinely kind and tremendously helpful, and this has been my experience throughout my educational journey here at Lakeland. All of my professors have come with exceptional backgrounds in the subjects they teach, and when they say they are here to help you succeed, they really do mean it. During my first semester, my mother-in-law, her health took a turn for the worse, and she passed away. That required me to miss 3 weeks of school not too long after it started. I took all of my books and laptop with me to Columbus so that I could keep up with the work and stay in touch with my teachers, but with missing so much class, they were skeptical about me doing well. I asked them to trust me that I would pull it off, and I did. At the end of the semester, I had made straight A's. I was very grateful to them for giving me a chance and for allowing me to prove myself to them. Also, throughout my experience here, several professors have also written reference letters on my behalf for various reasons, and they were always so glad to do it. As you can see, I am not a traditional student, and I come with a lot of responsibilities, being a wife and mother of 4 children with 2 being special needs. However, this school's atmosphere makes you not only want to learn, but to also participate, which is why I joined Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society, and when the opportunity presented itself, I became an officer. Being a member has allowed me the honor of being a recipient of a PTK scholarship as well. Your donations don't just stop right here at Lakeland. Even though I have a lot on my plate, my experience at this school has made me want to do more for my community, which is why I started a volunteer service that helps already existing organizations meet the needs of vulnerable populations, and there are many, many more students with this same testimony. Upon my graduation in a few weeks, I plan to enter the field of human services and work toward my bachelor's degree in social work, then to my master's so that I may become a marriage and family therapist. Everything that I have experienced here will always be a part of me, which is what I mean when I say the experience that I have at Lakeland. The experiences here will allow us as students to give back to our community and will allow them to also experience Lakeland. So again, on behalf of all present, past, and future students, thank you.
Thanks, Tiffany. Good job. Now you've heard from our students, and now hopefully you have a good idea of why people like us spend so much time, spend so much money on making Lakeland a better place. We do it because we're changing lives of those students. What a privilege, as Peter Clausen always says. What a privilege to be able to do that sort of thing. Now I want to introduce Tom Offit. Tom, you can start your way up. So, you know, the same way as we have remarkable students, we have pretty remarkable donors. And I wanted you to meet one that I think is one of the most remarkable, and that's Tom Offit. So Tom's had a pretty amazing life. He worked for the Trust for Public Land, acquiring land for the Forest Service, National Park Service, and state agencies. In that role, he also acquired Euclid Beach as it became a state park. Remember that, anybody? He acquired many parcels that now make up the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. He's long been associated with Yellowstone Park. This is the most remarkable, maybe, having served on both the Yellowstone Foundation Board and the Yellowstone Association Board. He serves now on the board of and is secretary of the Mather Charitable Trust. In that role, he's been part of many grants to Lakeland over recent years and making a difference in such areas as photography, enhancing math skills, and enhancing soft skills for Lakeland business students. Most recently, Mather provided funding for Lakeland's new mobile app accelerated pathway program, which I can't explain at all, but thank God we're doing it, and as a result, training people and making jobs for more people. What could be bad about that? So Tom, let me help you out.
What a group. Last year, I was one of you, a participant sitting there and listening to all these good people. And this year, I'm a beneficiary. I'm in a nursing home, and I'm surrounded by young people that are Lakeland students and who are working for a career in the health sciences. Thank you, Lakeland. They really do make the day tolerable. Bob said I could tell a couple of stories. He told you that I work for the Trust for Public Land, and I did. I not only acquired Euclid Beach, but the Garfield House. Local things were fun, but the ones that were the most fun were the ones that involved working in Washington on projects that were important to the people that worked there. And Dennis Eckert will know that there were people there that were fun. I worked for Senator Robert Byrd of West Virginia on a number of projects. And I'll tell you about one of them. He found an abandoned railroad property that ran along the Potomac from West Virginia down into Washington, D.C., and he thought, gosh, this would be great as a bike trailway to get people to come up to West Virginia. So at any rate, I negotiated it and worked with the company, and everything looked good, and we got it all fixed, but I couldn't get the chairman of the board to sign. Now, Senator Byrd had said, Tom, anytime you want to talk to me, come on by at 6 o'clock in the morning. There are very few people around then, and we can get things done. So I showed up at 6, and he was there, and I told him I couldn't get the chairman of the board to sign the dang papers. And he fussed around in his desk and came up with a telephone number and dialed the chairman of the board, who was asleep in bed in Richmond, Virginia, and said, Hayes, I need your signature on those papers on the abandoned railroad property on my desk by noon today, or we revisit the Railroad Retirement Act. Got it? Bang. He told me, he said, come back at noon. So I came back at noon, and the papers were there, all signed and everything else. And Senator Byrd, it was amazing. He went out a door in the back of his office, out onto the floor of the Senate, said, Mr. President, point of privilege, I'd like the records to show that we're thanking the Trust for Public Land for acquiring this really important piece of land. and that used to belong to a 20-ton wet sponge known as CSX Railroad. Anyway, I enjoyed working with the people in Washington. I also enjoyed working in Yellowstone. At one time years ago, I found out that the teachers in Montana had to go to Colorado to be recertified every 5 years, and that seemed silly. So I worked out a way in which they could be trained in Yellowstone Park and have the rangers do the work. The superintendent was a remarkable man named John Townsley, and he liked the idea, and he said, "Tom, come for brunch every Sunday." So I was sitting there at brunch, and the phone rang, his special phone, and he picked it up and said, this was the conversation, "Senator, so good to hear your voice, sir." "Yes, sir." "Yes, I know all about the fire. It's south of Yellowstone Lake, and it's in a let-burn area and not a real problem." "Well, I know it's heading towards Cody, but there's a mountain in the way, and it's not going to go over that mountain. I promise you." "Well, Senator, I'm sorry you feel that way, and I know how important it is to you, but actually I can't do a thing because, you see, I'm actually on annual leave, and I'm not the superintendent. I named somebody superintendent, and I'll have them call you. Goodbye." Boom. Dials the phone. "John, is it true that you're still going to retire at the end of this month?" "Well, John, I think before you retire, you ought to have a week as superintendent of Yellowstone National Park." "And I'm so authorizing this. And your first job is to call this telephone number. And that's the senior senator from Wyoming, and he's going to tell you to get the Forest Service to come in here and put this fire out, and you're going to tell him to go right straight to hell." I can't help but remember all of these wonderful things, and sharing them with you is a great thing. One story, the Mather Foundation is absolutely wonderful, and we're very, very fortunate to have had Mr. Mather in Cleveland in the late 1800s, early 1900s. He was incredibly successful, more so than John D. Rockefeller. And this story was told to me by Jay Rockefeller. He said that in 1890-something, a board of citizens came to Mr. Mather and said, "Mr. Mather, we need a really good hospital in Cleveland, and we're going to call it University Hospital. We've got the land, we've got the university to cooperate, and all we need is $2 million to get started on the thing." And they talked on for a while, and so finally Mr. Mather said, "Okay, $2 million, you got it." Called his secretary and said, "Write these gentlemen a check for $2 million and have a good time." And she said, "Mr. Mather, from which account?" Anyway, those are the good old days. Thank you for what you do. It's so wonderful to see these names up here, and look forward to next year.
Thanks, Tom. So, this is one of, as I've said, one of our most wonderful donors. But there's stories all over the place that are fascinating. And those of you who've come to this event before have heard some of those stories, and we hope in the future you'll hear more. But Tom's one of a kind, as you can tell. Thanks, Tom. Finally today, Jason Wooliger. Jason, come on up. Jason will conclude the program today. He's a co-vice chair of our Lakeland Foundation board, and he has some things to tell you.
I assure you that applause is very premature. Let me start off by saying that there are some people in this room who need to be thanked for what they do day in and day out for Lakeland and for our students. And that's the staff of Lakeland's Business Office and Financial Aid Office. Of course, Lori Principe, Jennifer Smizer, Tracy Morris, Nancy Brooks, Maureen McGinnis, Amy Sabbath, Kevin Malachek, and the indomitable Bob Kane. Laura Barnard mentioned in her remarks the inescapable activities that are occurring just outside of where we are today, and that's the construction of the new building. We need to be thankful, and I am grateful to the voters of Lake County for giving us the funds to build that building. But what has to happen next is we have to fill that building. And how we fill that building is up to us. It's up to every single person in this room, some of Lakeland's greatest supporters, to decide what's going to go in there. You've heard about our aspirations from Laura. The makerspace, where we can put in equipment that will inspire another generation of entrepreneurs right here in Lake County, that can provide them with the tools and equipment they need to be first-rate participants in a 21st century manufacturing economy. The health portion of the building that is training the folks that are working with Mr. Offit, as he mentioned in his remarks, that are going to train the folks that are going to take care of all of us. Do we want to give them first-rate tools to give them a leg up in the job market and to give all of us a leg up when we need them? It's up to every single one of us to fill that building and to fill it the right way, to reconstruct lives, as Andrea said. Because at the end of the day, we can put the equipment in there, but it's the students that are going to do all of this. So I thank you all, Lakeland's greatest supporters, and I can assure you, you're going to be hearing from me, from Dennis, from Bob, from Lori, from Kevin and Amy, from all of us. But you don't have to wait. You could come to us. And I hope that with the stories that you've heard today, you start to think about the impact that you can have and the impact that you want to have. And if we don't hear from you soon, don't worry. Over the coming months, you'll be getting a call. And thank you in advance for all that you're going to do. And let me conclude by encouraging you to not run off, but stay at your table, enjoy the rest of breakfast, get to know the folks at your table that you don't already know well, and enjoy yourself. And with that, that concludes our formal program. Thank you so much.